Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to.
Okay, why should companies engage the services of experiential marketing companies? What do they stand to gain? What is the most critical thing that they stand to gain by engaging the services of an experiential marketing company?
Okay, number one, I'll say to you that again, I would like to just tell a small story around that, or I'll make an illustration around that. So, if you look at warfare, military campaigns, you will find out that in most cases you have the Air Force. You understand? So you have this enemy territory, so you send the Air Force there to go and soften the ground, so they can be throwing bombs from up. You understand, to sort of pound them, but these enemies can go and hide under a rock, so that they are throwing your bombs, you are missing, some of them is hitting home, a number of them are missing and whatever. So which is why you will find out that the military will also engage artillery. These are tankers that would also go, you understand, to bombard whatever is in front of them and clear the path. And following directly behind the artillery are the infantrymen with their guns and whatever in their hands. They are foot soldiers, and of course we have special forces. You understand? That is what helps a military to be able to successfully wage a war and come out and say, oh, we are victorious. So in the same way with marketing communications, advertising, I would liken to your area bombardments. You can use the airwaves, radio, TV, what have you, and be pounding it. But if that guy does not switch on his radio, he won't hear you. If he doesn't put on his, if NEPA strikes at that point in time, you understand, your commercial has entered voicemail. So you put a lot of things out there, and there's this saying in advertising that 50% of your advertising budget is wasted. The only problem is that you don't know which 50%, and that's because they're just throwing these things out there. So that is where the role of experiential agencies come in, because we play the role of your artillery, we play the role of your infantry, and we play the role of your special forces. And those boots on the ground, and through the variety of activities that we do, whether it is content, whether it's activation, whether it is events and what have you, those are the things that ultimately endear your consumers to your brand. Because these experiences are the things that bonds them, that begins to make you begin to see and feel the personality of your brand, because you're able to create that brand world for them that they can experience vicariously. And that is the difference. And so one of the things that we also find is that they experience your brands, and then once you get them onto you, they become, you understand, advocates. So you also will find that there's empirical evidence. So if you're going to do something, for instance, let's say in Uyo, over a particular period for a brand, by the time you are leaving that place, if you take a look at the before and after, you can see the difference. So if a company has a warehouse filled with products that they want to move, and you go to do that activity, once the cash register rings, there's very clear empirical evidence that it has worked. And that's one of the reasons. So it actually returns great return on investments to clients. And that is why, you understand, you can see that a lot of companies have embraced it and put a lot of resources behind the experiential campaign.
You've been running town criers now for over 2 decades. What would you say makes a good company?
Well, I would say the fact that we are still in business means that our clients still see something in us. I think that's the easiest way to look at it. But if you ask me, one thing that our clients will say, and they would always attest to, is our resilience. We never give up. We never back down. So whatever the task is, whatever the challenge is, once we've taken on the assignment, you understand, we just keep going at it. We don't know how to stop. We give all of ourselves, you understand, to try to achieve what it is that we are promised to do.
Okay. Now, for an aspiring experiential marketer, or a young person, well, it could be young, it could be old, who is interested in taking a plunge into the world of experiential marketing, how would you advise the person to navigate that terrain?
Okay. So, remember I said earlier that knowledge is very key. That person needs to be knowledgeable. So, ideally, it would be good to be able to get a background in the social sciences, maybe the marketing, business, mass communication, English, social sciences, arts, but of course, any discipline really can. Then you also need to take a look at yourself. You need to be outgoing. You need to expose yourself. You need to be a sponge that soaks in information from different places. You need to be interested in watching movies. You need to be interested in music, what's happening. You need to be very interested in trends, what's going on, who's doing what, what's happening where, so that you feed your mind. So it's all of these things that you tap from different areas that come to play when a brief comes to your table, because you can draw knowledge from all of what is happening. You need to be interested in what is happening within the economy. You need to be interested in what is happening with the consumer. What is their disposable? How is inflation impacting them? What is their disposable income? What's their discretionary income? So you need not that knowledge base is critical in terms of your development strategy. Then when you feed your mind, you understand with creative things that other people are doing, you understand you can tap into that to come up with knowledge. And then of course you know that marketing, communications, advertising, under which experiential marketing falls, is a profession. And so it's imperative for you to know that you have to be registered as a member of ACON. So the requirements for ACON are very specific. And so if you do not pursue that, then you'll be practicing advertising and experiential marketing illegally in Nigeria. So for anybody, it's open to any discipline. We have people, engineers, we have architects, we have people from different, backgrounds, all working. Look, there is a part for we create a lot of sets, and architects, anybody with those sort of backgrounds will find a role, within our space. Those who did graphic arts, they find a space. So it's but I can say one thing I can assure them, like one of our guys used to say, that experiential marketing is the most fun you can have with your clothes on.
Now, earlier on, you were saying something about some of the challenges you or those who play in your sector face with government agencies. In what way do you think the government could be of assistance to those of you who engage in this line of business? In what way can they make your job or your business easier?
So I would say, well, Yorubas will have a proverb. They say, "Alatishe lo ma mu atishe ara," which means you must take your own destiny in your own hands.
Okay.
The good thing is that our engagements, through ACON, with ACON, is yielding fruits. We now have a law, a new advertising law. We have a new code, and then we have ISOP, which basically spells the terms of engagements and processes that must be followed when you want to engage and onboard an agency. All of those are through the handwork of the chief executive of ACON, Dr. Lekon Fadolako, who has done fantastically well since he came into that position. So I believe that some aspects of our challenges have been addressed, and then the engagements that we need to have, with like the joint task force, which is looking into the area of multiple taxation. I know that there's some plans right now in terms of some reform in that area with this gentleman from PwC, who is probably going to take on appointments in the new regime, looking at ways through which these incidences of multiple taxation, can be addressed. Nobody is averse to paying taxes, but when you find that at every turn they are paying the same thing over and over, it jacks up the cost of doing business, and then you face harassment from people face harassment from local government officials in faraway places that you have to start thinking of ways to solve. So the engagement is continuous. It's not going to end. We continue to talk to them and make our case to them that it's better for us to have an ecosystem that works for everybody. Government can only get more company income tax if people are declaring profits. If you are rendering them insolvent, then it's going to impact your own bottom line at the tax collections at the end of the day, your revenue generation. So, but like I said, it's something that is ongoing. We'll continue to engage.
Earlier on, we talked about, places where you worked, prior to setting up shop on your own. What would you say has been the greatest lesson that you have learned since you established the Town Crier, as a businessman now?
Okay, so let me say to you that Town Criers is a part of KOSE. KOSE is an IMC group, and of course, the group managing director of KOSE is Fumi Onobolu, whom I told you was my boss in Insights. And then when he set up shop in 1995, I joined up with him as the foundation staff and number 2. And that position has continued up until today. So the same relationship that exists with KOSE exists with Town Criers. So Town Criers is an arm of KOSE. So but it's the BTL arm of KOSE. So what you have is that you have the ATL arm, which is KOSE TTL, and then you have the BTL arm, which is Town Criers. And so that is the ownership structure. So I'm a director in both companies. But I have the primary responsibility for looking after Town Criers. Yeah. So what was the big part of the question?
Yes, what is the greatest lesson that you have learned overseeing Town Criers?
Yeah. So for me, one of the biggest things I have learned really is the fact that in business you have to take a long-term view. And you also have to take a philosophical approach to it and understand that, as in life, there are good times and bad times. You have your periods of highs and your periods of lows. So in our experience as a business at KOSE Town Criers, we've had situations where in 1 year we lost as much as 80% of the business that we were doing. So for you to put it in perspective, imagine if you were working for British American Tobacco, working for Nigerian Breweries, working for Globalcom, you understand? And within a period of a year, you understand, you suddenly find that those businesses are no longer in your portfolio. So that's like 80% of what you were doing gone up in smoke in 1 year. And we had that experience around 2004, but hey, by 2006 we bounced back. In 2010, when we had this global financial tsunami, we had a quite number of businesses that were the finance sector, banks, and some other companies. We had a number of companies that were paying us retainer. So you can imagine earning retainer fees an average of about 12 million naira every month back then. You understand? And then within 6 months of 2010, you had all of those companies come back to you and say, sorry, we're not sacking you, but we're no longer going to be able to pay retainer fee anymore. And we want to be on you should be on a commission basis. So it means there's no guaranteed income. And we found ourselves in that situation in 2010. So again, we had to bounce back. Then in 2013 or so, we also lost a major account in Town Criers that accounted for like 60% of our business. Just like that, one day it was gone. So here we are still standing. Okay. So what I've learned is that, hey, no matter what happens, you understand, just stick to doing what you do, be professional, and you'll survive.
Now, talking about Town Criers, what is your staff strength?
Wow. at the last count, I would say 28.
Okay. Town, nearly everything about town criers falls on your shoulders. You know, what is your dream for town criers?
That dream already is already in the works.
Okay.
Because look, succession planning is very, very important. You must plan for who continues what is there. And we're very focused on having a lot of young people. We're attracting a lot of young people into the business. The next line of managers, I'm hopeful that in the next 2-3 years, they will be fully running the agency, as I'm looking forward to retiring from active service in the next 3 years max. I'm done. So the reality of it is that you need to groom people, and we're actively doing that so that they are ready and can take it up. And look, things are changing. The technology is playing a key role. You understand what's going on now. We're talking about physical, virtual engagements, virtual reality, AI within our space. So it's a whole new level. So you don't need a dinosaur like me, a digital immigrant, when digital natives are there to run things. So we'll be moving out of the way so that the new people can take it on.
So when you eventually step down, from your role, as the MD of Town Criers, what are you looking at doing? Have you come up with what you'll be delving into next, or is still in the?
Two possible extremes. You'll be surprised. Two possible extremes. One extreme will be to just go into hibernation and be doing small farming and keep myself busy writing. The other one may be, you understand, if the environment changes and I see order there, maybe to end up in politics.
Okay. Now you have strong political views, but this is not time for us to talk politics. When we schedule another interview, maybe we'll look at the country, we'll look at your political views, and because I follow you religiously on Facebook, even though I rarely comment and everybody, I take my time to read. So your views politically are very, very strong. So maybe that would be one of the things we'll discuss.
One quick correction.
Yes.
I don't have strong political views.
Okay.
I have very strong economic views, which informs my support or opposition to things that some other people term politics.
Okay.